This week on the podcast, we've got 7 guests for you, and plus we're going to talk about Titan FC that just happened. We've got the UFC Rotterdam happening this weekend, but before that, the ladies are going to go first at Invicta FC, so check it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from the Isle of Man in the UK. This is John and Mike's MMA Corner.
Okay, welcome to this week's podcast. I am John, and I am joined by my co-host and colleague and my friend and my buddy, Mike.
Hello.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, like I said before at the start, we're going to talk about the upcoming Invicta and the upcoming UFC card. But before we do all that, we're going to mention, obviously, the Titan FC card that happened recently with some of the bouts and, big, massive, huge event that happened. The main event was a massive result. We also will talk about some of the fights that have been announced recently, which I have to admit are tasty, and we've got to talk about them. But let's start with some of the guests that I said before. I said 6 guests. I didn't say any names. I'm going to give you an idea now. We've got some UK over at BCMA this weekend. So we've got John McGuire on. We've also got Thomas Robertson. Thomas Robertson. Also got from Valor Fights, we've got the CEO, Tim Lloyd, talking about his last card they just had, which was Fight for Autism, and also the upcoming card they've got on. We've got Brendan Webb going on. We've got David Robbins and Kendrick Meary. So those guys are going to come on. You can check them out on YouTube and SoundCloud. They'll be on a playlist. Also, click like, put a comment down in the bottom section, whatever you want to do. That'd be awesome for us. Let's start off, Mike, then, with, I suppose, sad news. Yeah, it's sad news, but Jordan Parsons passed away. It was a terrible shame. For anyone at home who doesn't know who Mr. Parsons is, he fought for Bellator, a mixed martial artist. He was a legit fighter in the MMA world, in the MMA community. He wasn't a canned fighter. He was involved in a hit-and-run incident in Florida. Initially, it was thought that he was just going to lose or have an amputee done on part of his leg. Then it found out it was his whole leg. Eventually, the damage sustained just took it out, and he sadly passed away. It's a sad thing. It's a sad loss for someone so young, but it's something that happens in the world all the time. But it's just shit when it happens. Let's say it that way.
Yeah, that's all you can. It's someone that's been taken from the planet far too early by. Okay, facts aren't in yet, but it's definitely far too early, and it's such a shame. And our thoughts go to his family.
They do, yeah. There's also a GoFundMe account that's been set up to offer support for the family and help out with maybe costs of maybe the funeral, etc. and just afterwards. I will probably in fact, I'm going to stick that in the comment section below. If anyone has, even if it's 50 pence, 50 cents, 1 yen, I don't know what the hell that equals, 1 Zimbabwe dollar, whatever. If you can donate, help out, it will certainly help out them. Let's go now, Mike, to the Titan FC card that happened at the weekend. I watched it on the Sunday evening because I wasn't able to watch it live on the day, and I actually avoided, Mike, seeing the results. I was able to avoid social media, so to speak, and
where were you, in the moon or something?
Yep, I was in the moon. I just basically avoided I avoided Facebook, I avoided Instagram, I avoided Twitter, and I avoided MMA Junkie purely on the basis I did not want to see the results. So I was like, right, okay, I know the fight card's happening Saturday night. If I can just avoid it for 24 hours, I'll just jump on. I can do messages to people and that's it. So it was weird not going into the social media because I thought I could be missing out on a bit of news, but it's not the end of the world. It's only 24 hours. It was well worth it because I got to watch the fight, and I know it wasn't live, but you kind of get that live impact.
Yeah, it's the not knowing,
yes.
Which is okay. You can fool yourself into being in that it's live.
You can, and when you're watching it and knowing the results, you're kind of just sitting there waiting for it to happen, the finish, so to speak, or the decision, whatever it is. So yeah, Mike, Corey Tate, UK fighter, moved to Black Zillions, made his debut against Andrew Whitney. It was a tough fight for him. It definitely showed that kind of grappling won the day. Andrew Whitney got the grappling. I'm sure Corey Tate hadn't fought for a while anyway, but I'm sure Corey's going to take a lot on the chin there in a sense, and see that he just needs to work a little bit more of that ground game, that grappling, that submission, grappling defense, and I'm sure he'll come back a stronger fighter and hopefully back on one of these Titan FC cards.
I know that's our Achilles heel, as far as UK fighters. I mean, don't get me wrong, you'll always get exceptions that go off and train elsewhere when they're younger kids, like maybe their parents are in the forces or whatever. But, not having that martial art or, wrestling background as a child growing up is so important that you just can't, you're always that little bit behind, and I can't see how we're ever going to beat that one. Yeah,
it's a tough one. It's just I think it's one where fighters need to just literally, if I'm honest, either have a wrestling coach who is of a high level, can train you for an extensive period of time, or you go to the States where you're literally just pretty much and just surround yourself in the martial art itself to kind of get at least a good enough defense. You don't have to have the offense, but if you can have the standard
half of it,
yeah, if you can have that defense, that's pretty much what will do you. That'll pretty much keep you where you need to be. Jose Torres was on the card, ladies and gentlemen. Second pro fight. He came up against a guy who was his toughest test, and I said it himself, who's the most experienced fighter he'd ever fought in, Reynaldo Durante. Our pronunciation's awful there. Sorry about this, but I tell you what, Mike. Jose Torres, for the sweet and innocent look, I said it on Twitter, the sweet and innocent look, he is a very vicious, violent motherfucker. That dude hit hard, he was nasty, he got lovely ground and pound in, cut him open, but he couldn't put him away. No one's put Durante away anyway in his whole professional career. Torres literally did everything but that, but it just showed the level of talent and the potential that Jose Torres has got. I'm super
excited to watch his career, unfold. I mean, and such a likeable guy who can talk. His feet seem to be well on the ground.
Yeah.
And his skill level for someone that's starting off in the pro ranks seems to be above everyone else I see starting off in the pro ranks.
Yeah, he is. He's almost like a couple of the rest. It's almost like he's a five-fight pro vet.
It's a bit like when it comes to boxing. You get the guys that came from the Olympics,
yes,
and then you get the guys who came from the local circuit.
Yeah.
The Olympians always seem to be that little bit ahead,
yes,
and, well, sometimes quite a lot ahead. But, it does seem that way with him, and, and being so likeable as well, and being able to just talk, it's almost like he's been a pro for years. And,
yeah.
I'm very excited to see how his career unfolds. I think he's the first of the, we haven't had someone that has had that really high-level amateur experience.
No.
He's like the first sort of thing,
He's the first to show the benefits of having a substantial amateur record, so to speak, of fights, collecting fights before going pro, and he's shown the benefits of that. Yes, kudos, he has had an exceptional level of training to get to where he is, but at the same time, it's a lot of prospect. Let's quickly touch on Chase Sherman, that's better, against Jack May. Heavyweight bout. You watch the fight. It's Jack May throwing the kicks, inside kicks, body kicks. He's throwing everything, head kicks. They exchange some blows quickly. Then all of a sudden, big left leg kick comes along from Jack May. Chase Sherman checks it. Sadly, it looked to me like on a video replay, his leg wrapped around Chase's leg. It didn't look like a breakage though. It looked like it popped out. It looked like the way he checked it, he got him around the kneecap, which caused the leg to pop. I hope Jack gets a speedy recovery. It's a bit of a sad way for that fight to end in the sense of you didn't get to see both parties because obviously Jack had been out a while because he couldn't get the fights, so he didn't get most out himself. Chase didn't show the potential he could have, being a young and upcoming exciting heavyweight. It was a shame, but it happens. I hope that Jack, it isn't that serious. I hope that he's back, possibly latter part of the year. I'm hoping to find out more information. He had an MRI scan the other day. I'm saying the other day because I did message Jeff Arnson. We'll find out about that. Let's talk about then the main event really that stuck out was Belal Muhammad was facing Steve Carl for the vacant welterweight title. Sorry, I won't say that. It was vacant because no one had it because they never had that title up for grabs before. It was the first time it was there, the welterweight title. They're slowly bringing in their titles, Titan R, and this was up for grabs. I loved the matchup. I thought you've got a prospect in Belal who was unbeaten. He looked, like I said, his output's great, his cardio's great. You know, in his previous fights that I watched, Steve Carl is Steve Carl. He's a very experienced veteran of the game. He's been around big shows, big time fights. How does Belal handle it? Steve Carl, what will he do to kind of, you know, stub out this confidence in this unbeaten fighter? And I tell you what, Mike, Steve Carl did not look in that fight. Like, Belal was on another level. He looked phenomenal. And finishing Steve Carl in the fourth round with like a TKO, just it wasn't a TKO in the fourth round, ladies and gentlemen. It was a collection of the whole fight, of just slowly breaking down Steve Carl and finishing him. Steve Carl was so confident, he said it's going to be first round finish. That's all you heard was first round. It did not go that way. Great win. We all now remember the name Belal Muhammad. He is huge name now in the welterweight division to take seriously.
Yeah, I often worry when somebody goes in there and, I mean, don't get me wrong, yeah, we hear Conor McGregor say it and what have you, but when you get fighters that say, yeah, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to smash in the first round, and they keep repeating that, you think to yourself, well, are they really believing that? Because if you are you only training believing that you're going to finish them in the first round? Because that's not the best way to go into a fight, I don't think. I think you need to go in there expecting an absolute tear-up, you know, a fight, you know, like a, you know, and maybe going a distance just so, you know, you're prepared. I often worry when fighters go in there believing they're just going to go in there and smash it in the first round.
With Steve Carl, though, he's so experienced. I just think he believed in himself that he was going to. He's too experienced, Mike, to not think about 5 rounds. He's too much of a smart fighter. I just think he was just being a confident fighter, and that's fine. You know, he is good enough to have that confidence, though. You know, he's a good enough fighter to have that confidence, to believe in himself. And look, I'm sure Steve Carl will come back, go back to the drawing board and figure out why and what went wrong. Maybe some things did go wrong in camp. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe he had an underlying injury. I'm not taking anything away from Belal's performance. It could have been the best Steve Carl that went out there. We don't know. But all I do know is they've announced as well that they've signed Diego Lima on Titan FC. He's fighting on the 10th of June in a welterweight fight. No opponent matchup yet. But look, I'm telling you now, that would be a hell of a matchup. If Diego Lima wins, fighting Belal Muhammad for that title, that would be a hell of a fight. You got James Lynch from Party Shot Podcast. We were tweeting. He said he'd like to see Dave Machow fight Belal Muhammad next. Another great name thrown in there. He's still signed with Titan FC because I asked him. I didn't know what the circumstances were there. So there's a lot going on with Titan in that sense. It's great to see that as well. And they've also signed a female fighter. They're looking to bring women into the Titan FC brand. Big move. Yeah. Big move.
Yeah, it only makes them more appetising.
Well, it's a big move for them bringing the women in. I'm interested to see if they're going to bring in one division only, focus on one division, maybe have 2. I don't know. I am actually going to press to see if I can get some answers out of Jeff to see if he can. Well, try and prize out some answers about what's going on with them. Anyway, we're gonna move on though. Let's look towards this weekend coming. In fact, no, Mike. Let's look towards the future. I want to talk, Mike, about some of the fights that have been announced, or they said they were in the works, so to speak. That will pretty much means they're going to happen. Mike, we've got to talk about the man who basically went and sulked and demanded he got a title shot. Tyron Woodley. It's Robbie Lawler, Tyron Woodley, 2000 UFC 201. Don't know why I said 2000. 201. I think this ain't the best thing for Tyron Woodley. He's had a lot of time off, and now he's going to jump into a title fight. For me, I don't think that's the best thing. And Tyron Woodley's not a 5-round fighter. That dude has not got that kind of... Unless in the time he's had off, he's been working on that. He's not that 5-round fighter. I think, for me, this is an ideal title defense for Robbie Lawler.
Yeah, I know what you mean, exactly. I would like to have seen him on another card, just let him sort of go through the motions to someone else before you get a title shot. And I don't think going into a title shot, you want to have had a long layoff beforehand. It just... No. It doesn't often do fighters any good to have long layoffs.
No, it does not. And especially for time, well, I said it before, I don't know if I feel he's worthy enough of a title shot yet. I don't see... Like, he got absolutely schooled against Rory McDonald. Like, it wasn't even...
Well, he actually shut down and fell into himself, didn't he? It was...
Because Rory had the ring, controlled the ring. He controlled, obviously, the angles that Tyron Woodley was trying to get to. He just kept that pressure on him. And do you know what Robbie Lawler does?
He is pressure.
He is pressure, and that's exactly the problem you got. So if you're fighting Robbie Lawler, like, Tyron Woodley's style isn't it clashes with what Rory offers. You got to think he beat Kelvin Gastelum with a split decision, and how does that earn Tyron Woodley a title shot? Kelvin wasn't a contender at the time anyway to get that title shot either. So that confused me. That he got the win against Stun Gun with the spinning back fist kind of. That Stun Gun went to throw, and then Tyron Woodley hit him in the back of the head, and it was all a bit of a mess. He lost to Rory McDonald before that.
And when he lost to Rory McDonald, I mean, don't get me wrong, Rory's up there.
Yeah.
But, when it was his whole body language. It was almost like he just accepted the loss.
Yeah.
Even long before he lost.
Yeah, and then he also
he didn't go out and he kneeled. He didn't seem to sort of not throw caution, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like where he just sort of go down fighting. It was almost like, I can't beat the guy, so I'll just survive to the end.
And
That's
then
how he came across.
He beat Carlos Condit as well, because Carlos Condit blew his knee out with when he fell over openly on one of the takedowns.
With Tyron Woodley, I mean, don't get me wrong, he is relevant and he is up there.
He is good, but
he hasn't gone out and earned a lot of these wins.
I don't feel he is the man to fight next for the title, but that's just my opinion. We'll move on then to Holly Holm fighting Shevchenko. That is going to be on the same card as Anthony Johnson against Glover Teixeira, and apparently it's going to be the home fight's going to be main event. It's going to be a 5-rounder rather than Glover and Rumble. I don't understand that. So let's talk about Holly first. Holly and Shevchenko. Stand-up wise, it's a very good matchup for striking because they're both good strikers. You got both of them are great kind of Muay Thai kickboxing. Both of them have got that. I think that's great for the pair in that matchup. That works well on that side of things. You won't see in regards to the kind of takedown attempts and stuff. I quite like it. That's pretty much how I feel about it. I'm not jumping out my seat, but I do like it.
Yeah, sorry, I have a theory in this.
You have a theory?
Yeah, I have a theory. Mike's theories. Yeah, Mike's theories. Sometimes they come, they end up actually being quite accurate. My reason that I feel for this is I believe they want Anthony Johnson to win, and they want Anthony Johnson to fight for the title in New York against John Jones, who I think they want to beat Daniel Cormier. Now, for that to happen, we all know that Anthony Johnson, the longer into the fight he goes, the more chance he is of losing. So,
hang on a minute, Mike.
Fight.
Mike, I'm going to have to stop you.
Against Daniel Cormier, but fair enough, Daniel Cormier did wrestle the...
Mike, I'm going to say, because if you look at the Phil Davis fight, he went 3 rounds and looked phenomenal.
Yeah, but having said that, but again, it was 3 rounds, it wasn't 5 rounds.
Yeah, but he looked phenomenal for all...
They're trying to keep him out of the 5 rounders until then getting that title fight, which, let's be honest, is 1 fight away.
It is, but it's a very dangerous fight for Anthony Rumble Johnson to go into.
Having said that, it's no easy task. But that's just my little I might be just totally off the boil. I might be right on the button, but who knows? We'll never know. Only a handful of people will know that. But amazing opportunity for Holly Holm.
Chev.
But
Shevchenko.
The main event with Anthony Johnson on a card is fantastic.
Rumble and Glover, I think, should be the main event.
Yeah, and I was going to say, let's not forget Glover, who looked fantastic in his last. And do you know what I mean? I don't see anyone. I don't see that fight going the distance. Do you?
Mike, I'm being honest, mate. This is a fight that you can't sit there and. This is not a gimme fight for Anthony Johnson, Mike. The way you're saying, Mike. What I mean is the way you're saying, the UFC want him, Mike. I'm not being funny. Glover only has to land one punch, and Johnson's going to sleep, Mike.
I think it's a 50-50 pretty much this fight.
I don't think the rounds matter. I think it's Anthony Johnson has to be a very smart fighter in this bout. You can't stand and bang.
I think this fight could literally be one of those, whoever gets off first, gets the win in this one. It's both guys can end the fight in a blink of an eye.
Yeah, it's a crazy bout. Yeah, look, let's go to next to Asun Sao is coming back and he's going to rematch with TJ Dillashaw. And Asun Sao, ladies and gentlemen, is the man who defeated TJ Dillashaw before TJ went and had a couple of runs and got his title shot and became champion. And the sad thing was for Asun Sao, he'd been injured and never ended up actually getting his title shot. He was actually ahead of TJ. I'm happy that Asun Sao's back for a start. He's back from injury. Because he was on a great streak. I think it's like won 7 in a row or something stupid. I can't remember off the top of my head now.
Yeah.
Sorry, but he also adds to that 135 division being back. I hope the problem is though he's been off for a while. TJ Dillashaw hasn't exactly been sitting on his arse. He's been competing. Literally just lost the belt to Dominic Cruz in a super tight, squeaky tight decision.
And improving as well.
Yeah, I'm sure Asun Sao's been improving since he recovered and time off and everything like that. But I just think for Asun Sao, it would have suited him having a different fight. Who you match him up with, though, I don't know, because you've got Brian Caraway and Aljamain Sterling, they're fighting each other. You've got Thomas Almeida versus Cody Garbrandt fighting each other. So I suppose you are running out of those top perennial guys for Asun Sao to fight, because he is technically one of the top guys, because he only got injured, he never lost. I like the matchup anyway. I just feel a bit worried for Asun Sao.
And to be honest, I think there is unfinished business between the two of them.
There is.
I believe TJ might have actually won that first fight.
It was super tight, and either way, it was squeaky tight. It was in Brazil as well. We're not going to say Brazilian judges are biased or they're a bit squeaky.
No, this was close, this one.
Yeah, it actually was legit. Yeah, it was close. The other fight, which I'm quite excited about when I hear about, is Edson Barboza. Bang! Let's get him back in there against Gilbert Melendez. That is a fight.
Yeah. That's and also Gilbert after a bit of a layoff.
Yes, that's the thing. Yeah, and we know Gilbert isn't been sitting on his arse. He's training with the monsters in the Diaz brothers, Jake Shields, etc. Andre Ward. He's training with some guys, top level guys the whole time. But like you said, that time off makes a difference. You also have, Edson Barboza, who looked a lot more composed in his last fight. His output was better. He managed his output better. His energy efficiency was on point. What kind of fight we're going to see this time? Honestly, I look forward to seeing Edson fight this. I'm looking forward to seeing if he can maybe make a little title run himself.
Yeah. It's you see, and also when you get somebody that comes back after a ban, you have to ask yourself, how long had they been using things they shouldn't have been using? Is this person now going to come back as a different fighter?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Ask a lot of questions.
It does. Let's move on then to the Invicta card coming up. We'll talk about that one. We'll touch on that one. We'll touch on the UFC card coming up. Let's go with, so Invicta. You've got Laura Howarth, who we've had on the show before. And it was, we were pressing on social media to get her onto this card. It happened. She's fighting Alexa Connors. Laura Howarth back in the cage. Finally, she's been stuck with Invicta, signed to them, but not fighting yet. I'm so happy she's back. She's in America now. She's prepping. She's ready to go. I'm just happy to have her back. She's a good talent for the promotion, and she's a good flag flyer for the UK in women's MMA.
Yeah, it's always good to see the guys and the girls, get a chance stateside, and just if nothing else, good exposure.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. They've also got a couple of good fighters on this weekend to look out for. You've got Rachel Ostovich. Rachel Ostovich is fighting, that's it. She lost the last bout, but she's back again. She's a good one to look out for. Sharon Sin is fighting. You've got Megan Anderson back. Megan Anderson, badass, hot as fuck. Like, I'll be honest, I won't care. I'll say it out loud. Against Amanda Bell. You've got Charmaine Tweet fighting again after her loss to Cyborg. She's back in the mix.
She's had a couple of wins since.
She went off to a different, not Invicta side, she went off to another promotions, obviously on the kind of regional scene, so to speak, which is, Invicta are good like that, if they're not putting you on their card, you can go and look outside of the promotion, so to speak. Yeah. You got two titles, sorry, go on, mate. Go on.
I was going to say, it's always good to go off and, when you get a devastating loss, like she did against Cyborg.
Everyone has, against Cyborg,
get a couple of wins on the bank, away from all that attention.
Yeah.
And then come back, good on her.
Like I said, two title fights. You got Livia Souza against Angela Hill. Can Angela Hill get the title? She's on a little bit of a win streak since going to Invicta. She's looking very good in performances. Has she maybe got what she needed to by being out of the UFC, getting into Invicta, getting a good few fights under her belt, just building her experience up, because she's so young in the game still, Angela Hill. And she has got potential. She just needed that, I think she got pushed too fast by being in a tough house. I think she needs to...
You're exactly right there. I totally agree with you. I think it was just jumping the gun a bit. I think you've got to take a chance when it comes.
I think the exposure there... The exposure she got from it was probably invaluable, really. If she stayed with, if she'd been fighting on Invicta, she wouldn't be who she is now. We wouldn't maybe, she wouldn't have the kind of the followers on social media and stuff like that. She wouldn't have the kind of
exactly. She got herself. Well, put it this way: if she hadn't gone there, would we be talking about it now in the same sort of way? Like
the main event is Colleen Schneider is going to try and take the title away from Tonya Evinger, whatever you want to pronounce it. Sorry, terrible pronunciation, but anyway, this is a big fight, I feel, for Tonya, because if she gets this win again, she's still winning. She's still putting people away. Could she possibly get her sign into the UFC after this? That's the big thing. Can she defend this belt, move over to the UFC? I think this is her not make or break fight, that's the wrong... make or break fight, because she's not getting any younger.
It's like a job interview, shall we say.
She's 34 years old, she's not getting any younger. The UFC...
so she needs to bank that cash.
Yeah, but it's not even bank the cash. I think the UFC, if they're going to ride this wave, they need to do it right now. I think she's won something like 7 or 8 or 9 in a row. Some stupid, crazy number anyway.
Yeah, what more do you have to do to get a UFC contract?
Yeah, and she's finishing girls as well. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen. She's not like she's not finishing the decision. She's going in, submitting, or she's knocking them out. She's doing, or TK, or whatever you want to call it. She's doing what she's meant to do. So I look forward to that. I look forward to seeing how that goes. That's all on UFC Fight Pass. If you have UFC Fight Pass, buy it, watch it, enjoy it. It's awesome. I've got it. I watch it, enjoy it, and I love it. Let's go to UFC Rotterdam now. Mike, look, let's talk about a couple of fights. In fact, UFC Rotterdam card, what fights are you looking forward to? And if you say all of them, I will slap you. That's a lie, because you will not enjoy all of them.
The one that I'm looking forward to, probably the most, is Neil Seery against Horiguchi.
Right. It's a good fight to have on there. It is an interesting bout, because Horiguchi is one of the higher level flyweights, and you've got obviously Neil Seery, who's a top flyweight, but he's just short of that bracket in the kind of top echelon. This is that kind of in the middle fight where if Neil can beat Horiguchi, it could push him into that echelon. If he loses, it just doesn't put Neil any lower or any higher. It just keeps him pretty much where he is.
Also with Horiguchi, he's got a very good marker there.
Yeah.
When he fights Horiguchi, you've got somebody there who's not that long ago fought for a title. So
no, yeah.
For Neil, that's a fantastic mark. So if he does get a win, and he gets a good win because he looked fantastic in his last fight back in Dublin. Dublin? Yeah, Dublin. Then, you know, because let's be honest, they're crying out for opponents. So, you know, they want someone new. So, really, he's not in a bad spot at the moment. Like, you know, if he can pull a few wins together, you know, who knows what's around the corner for him.
Yeah, I think Neil would need at least 3 wins to get a shot.
Oh, yeah,
at
exactly.
least.
But his last fight was good. If he goes and cracks a win, not only a win, but a good finish as well, you know, straight away, he'll have some of the spotlight on him.
It will. I think there's other guys way ahead of him. So, but anyway, look, we'll move on to the next one because let's talk about fight for I'm interested in is Rustam Khabilov against Chris Wade. Chris Wade is a dangerous, badass kid, and he's coming across the UK, and he's fighting Khabilov, who's a very dangerous, strong grappler. The fight itself, I like this matchup. It's a great mix for this kind of styles of fighters, because Chris Wade, the guy himself, he is, in my opinion, a badass dude, because he's tough as nails. He can go 3 rounds, so he's the perfect fit for Khabilov, but he's also got very good submissions as well. So you've kind of got a yin and yang where someone's strengths matches a guy's strengths. So who's going to break? That is the key. I look forward to that one myself. I don't know about you, but anyway, it's the 155 division. You know, I love the guys in the 155. There's so many killers about. It's just mega, because Khabilov, his last win was against Norman Park. He got his decision win, and he needed it because he was on 2 losses. It might relax him a bit to open up a bit more in this fight.
Yeah, definitely. Another fight which I'm super excited to see is Gunnar Nelson.
Jumping up the card there, aren't you, Sunshine? Right, okay then.
Well, yeah, I know. I mean, I didn't want to hang around too long. Obviously, you've got Nikita Krylov as well, you know, who's...
At light heavyweight. Yeah, go on. No, Mike, go on. You can jump up the card.
Yeah,
go on.
Well, I mean, everyone knows I'm a massive fan of Gunnar Nelson. I'd like to see how his whole fight game has maybe changed since his last fight. You know, whether he just brings a bit more to it, because we all know, you know, we can't doubt his ground game.
Well, I was going to say, like, what do you mean changes game? Because like his last fight was against Damian Maia, and to be fair, it was not. I don't think he needs to change anything. It's just the fact that he came up against a guy who, and like you said, like we spoke about it before, Gunnar Nelson. He said, "I want to test myself on the ground against Damian Maia," and he won. That's it.
No. What I meant was because we have seen him strike a little bit, and his striking is not actually all that bad at all.
It's not bad. It's not great. Rick's story literally exposed his problem. Is, Mike, if you want Gunnar Nelson to start striking with Albert Tumanov, you're asking for Gunnar Nelson to go and have a nice long sleep good night.
No, I'm not suggesting he should do that. But what I'm saying is there might be times when he will have to. So it'll be interesting to see how he actually...
This is a fight where you'll see Gunnar Nelson try to get this fight to the ground against Albert Tumanov, because Tumanov doesn't do submission. He just starches people. The guy himself has got like something. He's got over 10. He's got 11 knockouts or TKOs in 17 fights. The dude hits and hurts, and that's it. That's all this guy does. And I don't know how else to say it, but like, I can't see Gunnar standing. I just see him standing to get the takedown.
No. I didn't mean that he would elect to stand, but he might have to deal with the striking before he can. He will, because Tumanov will be keeping out.
Right, let's quickly talk. I'm not that fussed about the co-main event, Stefan Struve against Antonio Bigfoot Silva. The pair of them are kind of in that top 10 to 15, kind of not pushing top 5 kind of thing. I think they're still, I'm not too overly excited about this. I think Struve will probably win, because Bigfoot's, just from my own kind of personal opinion, has not got what he had. He's kind of lost a lot of his kind of spark. But the main event, though, Alistair Overeem, Andrei Arlovski. It's an interesting matchup because of the title picture in the heavyweight division and what could happen from that result.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, this is not going to be a jiu-jitsu match. It's going to be striking and highly potential knockout.
Yeah, I can see it being a knockout. It all depends. I found the problem we've had with Arlovski is what Arlovski knocks up into the cage. You've got Arlovski that's going to be a Travis Brown and excite everyone, or he's going to be a Brendan Trubb and not be that exciting. With Overeem, what Arlovski's going to turn up, because is he going to be quite tentative because of the danger that that Overeem offers. For Overeem, I think you might see a similar style that he did against Junior Santos, because
that patience,
because the problem Overeem has, he knows that Arlovski's powerful, he's quick on his feet, he's got good movement. He's not like Roy Nelson, who will stand there and be a standing target. Yeah. So I think that you might see...
I was going to say, I really like the maturity of Overeem in his last fight. And I do agree that is more of what we'll see this time. Personally, I think Andre might try and bring him into that reckless kind of fight.
I think you need to with Overeem. I think if you give him too much time, he's so much of a high-level kickboxer. He will see the gaps and then he will bait you to get those shots in. I think he's one of them guys that you do need to put under pressure. If you can push the pace on Overeem, you can really start to trouble him. Don't forget though, if you go to the ground with Overeem, his ground game is really not underrated, but not acknowledged enough. He's got a very strong grappling ground game. Overeem, he just hasn't or needed to use it. So I don't see Arlovski going for any takedowns. I do see it stand like you say, Mike. So it's going to be a good fight. That's on this weekend. Invicta and UFC Rotterdam. They're both on Fight Pass. So it's great kind of for everyone to tune into the watch. Also,
it's a good weekend to start your trial if you haven't got.
Yeah, exactly. In the UK, you got BCMMA going on, and that's a pay-per-view on MMATV.com. That's a live stream. You can watch the fight cards on there. We've had a handful of guests on. There's some good matchups for you all to enjoy. So there is stuff there this weekend for you all to sit down and enjoy. I'm going to enjoy watching a hell of a lot of fights. I look forward to talking to you all next week. Again, comment section below. Anything you want to say, anything you want to discuss, drop it in there. We will happily reply. Also, give us a like. Join us on Facebook, John and Mike's MMA Corner. Join us on Twitter. Just type in John and Mike's MMA Corner. Instagram as well now. Just jumping on it, people, and enjoy it. We'll speak to you all next week. Thanks for tuning in.